where I need to be able to give them everything that I've been given in my life. And so once I kind of made that action and I was able to pass, like it was the best day of my life. I was by myself in my mom's condo. It was a beautiful sunny day. My dog was sitting on the couch. I just remember it. And I jumped up, I got the email and I started crying. Like, I was just like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and I'm starting to get emotional too because I was thinking about it. I was like, I literally picked my dog up because he was the only one there, and I was parading around with him in my condo. And it was like a lot of people would think like, oh, it's a CrossFit exam that you passed, and I'm just like, but too, and I think a lot of people will be able to understand it who are is that it's so much more than just moving somebody through like a squat clean or an air squat. It's giving them the confidence every day to like be able to make them realize that yesterday they were good and today
Well, hey, Burg fam, thanks for listening in. If you like it, feel free to share us on Facebook, Instagram, all the social media, all that kind of stuff. My name is Kris. I'm one of the coaches here in CrossFit Burg Sunbury, Ohio, so Central Ohio. And I'm talking to Jake, one of our coaches down in Florida at our north location. So Jake, I personally don't know you too well. We've seen each other in meetings and stuff and kind of talked a little bit about work. But today we're here to, talk about yourself. So hopefully you like talking about yourself.
who does who I mean, eventually,
Right,
let's be honest, who doesn't mind talking about themselves every once in a while?
So here, let's start with the basics. I mean, you're obviously a coach at Burg. What was your history in fitness? How did you don't usually just drop in and become a coach out of nowhere. You got to have some kind of why. So, tell me a little bit about your journey and did you play sports? How did you get into all this fitness that is CrossFit?
Awesome. Hello, everybody, Burg family or not. Hopefully, find this entertaining. Kris and I obviously just got the chance to meet. It's been cool to be on this journey, I guess, just getting started and hopefully continue to, grow during, obviously this craziness that's going on. But yeah, a little bit about myself. So graduated, that's crazy, coming up 4 years ago. I graduated at University of Nebraska, and it was fun. I actually had a chiropractor that I saw in high school. My mom had seen it and went there. They had a massage therapist I would go and see after football game, play in high school. And so essentially he knew of all high school years, a little bit into college, and I didn't see him for 2 years, like towards the very end of college. And I come back after I had graduated, and he was kind of one of those straightforward father figures that really, wasn't, a big father figure in my life, but, we always connected on fitness and being healthy and, just living our best life. And when I came home, obviously he saw where I was before and then where I was after college. And he straight up just said to me, he's like, dude, you are fat. And I was like, wow. I was like, but
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, right. I know. But it was interesting because it was, he was one of those people in my life where he was telling me for all the right reasons and saying like, dude, what's going on? And like, what are you going to do about this? Because you were this super energetic, healthy kid that I knew in high school. And now you've kind of just like let it go. Like what happened? And, after I graduated and, the parties are gone and everything, the late nights and, doing whatever is all faded away and you're away from that. You kind of have some time to reflect. And, it's kind of like probably a lot of people feel there, right now during this, kind of pandemic is, that self-reflection and rest because you kind of get away from your routine and, the craziness. And so once I kind of got the chance to step back and look at it, I was like, wow, he's got a point. And so from there, it was like I was a bad man out of hell. I essentially went to Planet Fitness. My mom had been going there for a while. And essentially I just did that. I did that for almost 8, 9 months, where I would wake up, I'd get there at like 5 a.m. and I would just run through a couple of the machines, and I'd, do some cardio and, get in a good hour's workout, come home, I'd shower, I'd eat, and then I'd go into, my full-time job. And so I kind of did that for a little while. Obviously that got boring for me. I know a lot of people enjoy it, and so if you're there, don't take that the wrong way. I applaud you, because when I would go back, it was always cool that I would see people that I knew, and I was at least proud of them for being there. And whatever you're doing, whatever journey you're on, keep at it. But some people just need a little change. And so from there, I essentially went to essentially a kickboxing gym. So it was more a little bit HIIT training, but his primary focus was kickboxing. So hopefully Corey gets to hear this. He's a great mentor, and he's a fantastic human being, and a really crucial part of my life, where he and it was funny, he would always say this, and I loved it, where he would always come in and he could always tell that you were having a bad day, or you were out of it a little bit, just by how you were going into your workout, or in your workout, you might not be focused. And he'd always tell me to like get my mind right. And it's so funny, because it's just like this little saying, but just the way he said it, like he knew, I wasn't focusing on my breathing, or, I was letting something affect me. And it was just always like that, hey, refocus, and always remember like why you're here, whether it's like you're here to lose weight, you're here to like have self-confidence in yourself, and just like be able to like refocus. And so he was also a Christian, and I have a really big faith background. My wife and I have, rededicated our lives to Christ, and he was really spiritual in that aspect as well. So he was kind of a full package for me, and we were able to connect and grow on a lot deeper level too. So that helps, especially with a trainer, when you're really trying to like transform your life and you're able to connect on a deeper level. He brought me to a point where I probably wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for him. And so hopefully he gets to hear this, because I don't think truthfully I've gotten the chance to say that to him. And so, right. Yeah,
absolutely.
So cool.
Maybe give him a call after and let him know.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. And I mean, especially nowadays, it's
right. You got the time.
Yeah, you got the time. So after that, I went to a kind of a HIIT style gym. It was 45 minutes. Basically, you would come in. If you didn't stop, you just work through all the stations. And from there, I kind of took the next step to, transform. And I loved the intensity, the nonstop push for 45 minutes straight. And I was like, this is really awesome. This is cool. And it wasn't until I went on a work trip where I essentially came to a gym where they had CrossFit in their name, but it wasn't until like the very end. So it was Natural Selection CrossFit up in like rural state of Washington. I was on a work trip, and I drop in thinking it's going to be, this like HIIT gym, because I found it on like Mind Body app. And all of a sudden I like drop in there, and I'm like, this is really weird. Like, what's going on in here? Is it the
first time you saw a barbell?
No, it was the first time I saw kind of like a box, like a CrossFit box setting, where rigs are on the sides of the wall. You got a platform, and you got black mats in the middle, stall mats in the middle. And yep. Yeah. And I'm just like, this is really interesting. And I think I came in for like a noon class. And so it was only me, one other girl, and the owner. And we essentially did JT, but with running. And so every time you got done with the round, you would go for like a 200-meter run, come back in. And so for me, like trying to flip upside down on my head was like, what in the world? Like, this is crazy. But surprisingly, like I did it, and it wasn't too bad. But then from there, I just kept coming back. And after that, I searched for CrossFit gyms once I got back home, and the rest is history. And ever since then, it's been, just drinking the Kool-Aid and seeing how many other people I can get to drink it. So yeah, long story short, that's my almost 4-year journey kind of wrapped up in a couple minutes, essentially. So.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds very similar to actually my story, almost verbatim in some ways. So I feel where you're coming from. So you said that you traveled home, but you were in when you were in Washington when you found CrossFit. Where was home for you? And then how did you make your way to Florida?
Yeah, so I've been all over the place the last couple of years. So I'm originally from Illinois. I'm out in the western suburbs. So yes, I do say I'm from Chicago. It makes it a lot easier. But for my fellow Illinoisans or Chicagoans or western or suburb people, we always say it. And then if you're from Illinois, all right, where you get to have the conversation like, oh, you're from there. So I'm about 25 miles from Chicago, and I was really privileged. My mother worked her tail off to give me a great life, and we would travel a lot. And I always saw myself just leaving the state of Illinois. I didn't really want to go to school there. U of I was not my thing. I got Northern Illinois up into Cal, but I know I got a lot of family. Hopefully my family doesn't hear this, but I just didn't want to go to Northern. Wasn't my thing either. I just didn't want to stay. And so I had an uncle who actually went to the University of Nebraska in the early 80s, go Skurs. And he just loved it. And he said, Jake, my little man, he said, I wanted to say that Nebraska's not all cow tipping and corn husking. So you just go out there and give it a shot and check it. I promise you'll love it. And, 5 years after, I loved it. Eventually my beautiful wife, and I dragged her, Illinois. She's originally from Omaha, Nebraska. And so brought her back to Illinois with me. We lived there for a year, and she kind of craziness in my whole, she was in that aspect of both my mom and father were kind of planning their early retirement where they wanted to move down to. And long story short, my dad bought a place, and my mother bought a place, and then that was it. And then we moved down after a year of living back in Illinois, and we've been here for almost 2.5 years, and we're so grateful that we found this place, and we've been on a crazy journey. But yeah, that's how I've made it across the country from Illinois to Nebraska to Florida. So
yeah, awesome. So you've been in Florida, you said about 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Were you a member at Burg your entire time in Florida? How did you end up, getting a passion for coaching? And I'm assuming, but I'll let you explain, I'm assuming your kickboxing coach had some kind of influence on, developing you into the coach that you are now. So tell me a little bit about that too.
Yeah. So I came down to Florida and came down here for gyms, and I love the gym that I went back in Illinois, CrossFit. It was out in Elgin. I drove 25 minutes there and back every day, and their first class was at 5 a.m. So I had to wake up at probably, I literally set it to where I could roll out of bed. I took pre-workout, and then I drove my way there. And by the time I got there, my pre-workout had already kicked in, so I was good to
You're amped up.
Yeah, so I was amped up for class at 5 a.m. And so
your coach, your members are probably like, what is he doing up so loud so early? What is going on?
No, everybody was on a level, and shout out to all my morning people. Everybody always asks me why do you love morning so much? I'm just it was kind of a developed habit where you kind of got to realize hey, it's the only time that I can do this, because nighttime's crazy. I get back from work late. I really know I'm not going to go. So, just shout out to all my morning people out there. Whether you go and do it by yourself, you go to a CrossFit gym, because it's tough, but once you get in that routine, it's good. And so when I was there for probably 6 to 8 months, there was probably about 20 of us at the 5 o'clock. It was one of the biggest classes. And I just fell in love with CrossFit, just being able to learn, being able to grow, and just see all right, well, this is how I'm doing on cleans, and this is how I was, and I can see myself slowly progressing, I'm getting a little bit better, my hips aren't like as tight as they were probably like 2 months ago. And
Right.
I just,
Like down to parallel.
yeah, I can actually squat down, below parallel and not, above it. And yeah, honestly, I think this is kind of like the first time that like somebody like really asked me where I really had to like reflect on like why I love coaching. And I think it's because I've seen what fitness as in general. And again, because so many people are like, oh, Jake, you just love CrossFit. I'm just like, I found something that I love that I can do consistently. And I've been able to sustain for almost 2.5 years. The other ones, they were fantastic and I love them and I would easily do them, like go back to them again. But this one for me, I could just see like one, how much it helped me and kind of took me within like 6 months, like how far it took me. And then I was like, well, all in all together, like everybody who is a fitness instructor for me and I'm just my fitness journey and myself was like, I realized that I want to be able to like teach this and give this to other people because I realized like how much of a journey it was for me and how hard it was like day in and day out. If I could just tell people, hey, you've gone through a lot in your life or you've been able to, achieve this, like it's going to be the same thing. You just have to put into your fitness. And so when I kind of made that connection and just, saw that, I realized that I would love and enjoy coaching. And ever since I basically came down here, long story short, get back to your question. I